Welcome to the Let's Talk Skills podcast, where we discuss all things related to skills development and the discipline of TVET from the youth to the youth. In this, the first episode of our 6-part series, we're going to be discussing What's Your Skill? This is in keeping with the theme for World Youth Skills Day, which is being observed by WorldSkills International and consequently WorldSkills Barbados. My name is Anastasia Bernard and I'm going to be your moderator. Today we sit down with young skills professional and WorldSkills Kazan 2019 competitors Danny Mears, Kristina Patrick, and Peabo Sampson. Hi guys, how are you doing?
Hi.
Hi, I'm doing okay. How are you?
I'm good, and what about you?
I'm well.
I'm doing okay, just cold.
Okay, great. So I'm in the presence of 3 young skills professionals. So can you tell me a bit about yourselves?
Sure. My name is Danny Mears. I am 22 and I am a finalizing student at the University of the West Indies, majoring in hotel management.
Okay.
Hello, I'm Kristina Patrick. I'm 24 and I'm a graphic designer.
I am Peabo Sampson. I am 23 years old and I major in fashion design.
All pretty interesting areas and skill areas, I should say. So this podcast is about finding out more about WorldSkills International and more about WorldSkills Barbados and, how it can benefit young people such as yourselves. So each of you would have represented your respective training institutions in the WorldSkills Barbados 2018 competition. So can you walk me through what that process was like? We can start with you, Peabo.
WorldSkills. It was an interesting part of my life because I was able to experience things not only here but also internationally, and I was able to get a different take on how different people do their different skill areas and just to see the craft in action.
What was it like for you, Kristina?
Yeah, I agree because I remember for WorldSkills Barbados, people's section was like right across from me. That had a lot of intakes as well. The graphic design one was just as bad. Not bad, but just as good. It was just very intense and adrenaline driven.
I would have to agree with Kristina and Peabo. It was intense, interesting, but it was fun. It was a new experience, especially in, restaurant service. And just doing it and seeing it in action was a fun experience.
Okay, great. So I just mentioned your skill areas. You would have mentioned it a bit, Kristina. So can you tell me what your skill area is and how you got into it? So we can start with you.
Well, my skill area is graphic design. I have always been interested in art, but then when I noticed I do not like painting or drawing, so I decided to try out graphic design because I did get a feel of it in secondary school, but it wasn't actual graphic design, it was graphic art. So when I went to PCC and I tried it out, I was like, yes, I really like this. I'm going to stick with this.
So how did you get into yours? Yours is different.
Yeah, restaurant, a whole other skill. I got into it essentially from my grandmother. She worked at Tamarind Cove, and that was the name at the time. And from then, I wanted to go into the industry, whether it be cooking or doing something else. So when I went to Pomerine, obviously I went to do cooking because I wanted to be a chef. But then, I guess as fate would have it, I gravitated more towards restaurant service because I actually enjoyed, engaging with the guests and stuff. So when I first found out about WorldSkills was from a tutor, and that's basically how I got in more so into restaurant service. And like Kristina said, people tend to throw restaurant service and just put everything together or just say, it's just a waiter, but you have bartenders, you have hosts, bus person, so it's a variation of a lot of things.
Okay, so you just mentioned you started out with the interest in being a chef. So you think that would be something that you still want to pursue over time?
Yeah, it's a broad spectrum for restaurant service and even hotel management, so I would go wherever it takes me.
Okay, sounds great. So you then went on to participate in WorldSkills Kazan 2019, and this was in Russia. So you competed in your respective skill areas. So can you tell me what the whole atmosphere was like, what it was like competing in Russia, after just competing in 2018 in Barbados, then just moving quickly in 2019 into Russia? What was that whole experience like for you guys?
It was like a table. Another side of it, it was a huge 180.
It was a lot of pressure. It was just a little shelf, not a big push, but like a little touch into adulthood, you know? So then you start to get a feel of what it is to go out there and not only just pursue your dreams, but also apply it into the working world. So you then understand the pressures and the different fine details that go into having a skill.
Yes, I totally get where you're coming from, because you can learn all you want in a class. You can sit down and do what you have to do, but it's something totally different when you're actually going to the working environment or the competing environment. So, Danny, can you tell me what that experience was like for you in Russia?
Yeah, I thought WorldSkills Barbados was, intense, but WorldSkills International was intense times 100. The weather, the culture and everything was different. The pace of everything was different. Trying to compare how we do things here in Barbados versus the international stage, and, how it's supposed to keep up. You have to run, do things quickly. You can't, like Barbados would last for that.
Everything was well advanced.
Yeah.
Even down to the opening ceremony.
It was basically like WorldSkills Barbados was like jogging, and then when you went into Kazan, we're like jogging and everybody's running past. It's like, what race is this?
But at one point I felt like it was more of, I didn't know you could do them things in fashion. Like, that's the mindset I have when I saw like the other competitors. So it was just really different. When I was able to look at different competitors, like garments and stuff, like I saw people doing these different roses and these different flipped over collars and these roses. I'm just like, all this happens in fashion? Like, it was mind blowing. So like, I think for me, it was more of, I wish I had more knowledge in those things, because although I do have like a bit of knowledge in my skill area, I still feel as if it can be taken further, and I feel like we don't learn a lot of those things that the other competitors were learning, and that's something that I really wish that for me stood out most in the competition.
Okay, so you think it's dependent on your training institution now to incorporate these different skills and stuff like that?
Definitely, because the craftsmanship is amazing. So that was it for me.
It would have to do with Peabo. I wasn't really intimidated, but looking at other competitors and seeing what they were doing, and it was like second nature to them. Not saying that it wasn't to me, but feeling sick and everything, like I was there, but sometimes I felt like I wasn't there. But like people said, the institutions here, I think, need to incorporate more of the international standard and not, I guess the regional standard of things, because what I realized is that we do a lot of things here that are dated as opposed to what I would have seen in Russia. And I'm like, damn, we're behind. So it's like, just incorporate it more in the institutions where we could actually teach it as a part of the curriculum, so it wouldn't be so, like, whoa, I didn't even know I could do that. So just to get it, more incorporated. So
you only realized that, I just quoting you, we were behind when you went to Russia. It wasn't a case when you felt behind in, in class or whatever the case may be.
Exactly.
Okay.
Like I didn't realize like the world is going forward, but this is what we're actually doing. So the disparity between the world and where we are, different.
Like, honestly, I thought I was good. But when I saw others, it was like, you ain't good, you ain't that good. I mean, like, you good, but you not that, like, got some catching up to do. So, yeah.
Yeah, because in my field is RA, you always have to be learning something new, or it's always changing. So you're always in a learning situation. I couldn't see the other competitors because I was in a cubicle. Mm-hmm. But when I was seeing people, like, sometimes when they would walk past with their prints, I'd be like, ooh, that looks really good. Like, is my okay? And then when they're moving so fast, so somebody will finish and I'm like, but I'm now finishing this part. So yeah, the speed and the knowledge and everything was.
So when you came back, you guys pointed that out, or?
Yeah, I definitely did. I actually told my expert there and discussed it here. We discussed it actually at a briefing that we had in Russia. Mm-hmm. But I haven't really been to partnering since, because I would have gone to Bahamas and had to study and stuff. So I would definitely take a walk around someday and, see what it's like and what we're doing, because I intend to also assist with the competitor for Shanghai. So I would get to see the level that they're at compared to what I was doing, and see, and actually compare it to the skill that I saw and see the difference and see if there was actually an improvement from, what we would have seen in Russia.
That's great that you're doing that. 'Cause I was so shocked when I found out that so many competitors is be training for 4 years for the competition specifically.
Not even 4 years, like from the time of burn.
It was like, basically, because when we went to the school and the 11-year-olds and 10-year-olds was doing robotics and woodwork.
That was actually eye-opening. Like,
I would say, are we making beer sport in Barbados? So like, we could be doing more. We honestly could be.
What I can say though, I think somewhere along the line our voices were heard, because I think if it's not the upcoming school year, it should be soon where the government is looking to incorporate like robotics and stuff into the curriculum in school. So for me, that's a plus.
Yeah, I actually think that my nephew, he's in first round. He's actually doing robotics as a subject at Aline. So when I heard about it, I was like, what on earth is robotics? So I feel like we are improving, and I think that you, as you guys said, it is now upon you. I think you can work closely along with the others. So, just lend your knowledge in that area, help them to, be better, because it's just for us to improve, as you said. And it's something that we're capable of. It's not like we are not capable of doing better or not capable of getting up to the standard, but it's just that we think that we're at a level here where we could be doing more. So now that we've learned a bit about your individual skills area, I just want to divert a bit and touch on personal experiences now in your skill areas. So this doesn't have to include, the competition, but what is it like as an everyday person doing graphic design, doing restaurant service, doing fashion technology? What are some of the challenges you face? Whether your family support you, how is it? So what was the support like from friends and even family as you wanted to pursue your degree in graphic design, Kristina?
Well, everyone in my family always knew that I liked art and everything. Even from young, I used to be making paper food and everything. So when it just shifted, I would call it a shift, the graphic design, because to be honest, it's still under the umbrella of art. So everyone was quite supportive. They were like, yay, Karsa, do what you gotta do.
I feel like the biggest support system was the team itself, because I am very introverted, but I was still like being around the team. I feel like I was able to calm myself in certain situations and just try to enjoy the moment. So I think that they played a huge part in the support system.
Yeah, I agree
in Russia.
With people, like, I don't know how it would have been if it were different people, but yeah, we were cool with everyone. The support was there, and even from family and friends, talking to people they haven't spoken to in years. People from church saying, yeah, they saw me on TV and yada yada yada. Yeah, so it was cool.
Yeah, I piggyback on what Danny said. I'm glad that it was the 6 of us together, because if it was just like if you're by yourself, I don't know if I would be able to handle that.
You would get lost
in a complete different country with a different culture and weather. I would have probably went mad.
I feel like the food played an important part too. Because, the food over there was good. So, you eat, you're happy. So,
yes.
So the food played a vital role for you.
Yeah.
I agree. I think that if I went over there to compete, my first time would have probably been the food. Honestly speaking, I think I'm a big foodie, but you never know until you get there. So, challenges. What were some of the challenges that you guys face now on this path?
I can speak for the entire team. Well, probably not me because they didn't affect me, but I feel like the weather had like a major effect.
I love the weather.
A lot of y'all get sick.
Technically, that wasn't our fault. One person gets sick,
and then all
of us got sick.
I was the only one that didn't get sick.
Oh my goodness! So it was really cold.
Yeah.
My room was freezing. I was telling everybody my room was freezing. Nobody was believing me. And then like one day, like somebody came into my room and they saw that the window was cracked. It's like broken. I was like, I don't see why inside is so cold. But like Honestly, if I complain about the heat in Barbados, I feel like I appreciate the heat more than being in the cold.
Is it weird that I actually preferred Russian weather? I loved the weather. It's like, instead of turning on the AC, it was like, let me just open this window. And it was like a nice breeze and everything. I loved it.
Kristina different. Like, I agree with people. I couldn't open when it was just extremely cold and everywhere was cold.
Even to just like walk to the cafeteria, that used to be
Yeah,
taxing.
Yeah.
Like you would just leave from, by the time you leave from the dorm and you get to the cafeteria, like your hands would be freezing. You're just like, I can't even walk too far. What's happening?
So basically a visual imagery, everyone's shivering and like hopping into the sunlight, like, oh, this weather.
So how were you guys able to compete with this freezing temperature?
It was indoors.
Oh, okay.
Indoor was even cold for
It
me.
was still cold, but
Like it was because they had like the big fans, so that was just sending off some air that was higher real cold. But
I'm trying to remember. Oh yeah, yes. When I was sick, I was sitting right underneath a vent. But nice, but good thing the expert from Lavia gave me his hoodie, so I was like, hey, warmth. So
the team dynamic also played a role because none of us gave up. Even though, we were sick and we were cold, we just pushed through and got through it. Regardless of scores or anything, we just, finished.
Okay, so it's not like a totally different environment here for sure. At least you guys were able to adapt, right? Okay, that's great. So what other challenges outside of, being cold, however, do you think that you guys faced and overcame?
I wish I had somebody that I could have vent to.
yeah.
I mean, I appreciated our team captain and team members, but like, I feel like I just wanted somebody that I just didn't know to just vent. I would just listen to, because I feel like that was one of the challenges I had, not being able to talk about being in a different environment, having to deal with a different atmosphere, like having to deal with situations different because you're in a completely unknown area. So that was a huge battle for me.
Well, I just wish my expert Shelly Mears was there with me in the same dorm, because I'm very comfortable with her. So if she was there, I'd be like, I think everything would be much calmer for me.
Yeah, I think that was probably like a challenge for all of us, because even if we wanted to talk the family home, the time difference was like 7 hours.
Yes.
So it was, taxing already. And then I could speak restaurant jargon with my expert, Mr. Prescott. So I could vent to him, but I can't vent to like Peabo or Kristina because they would be lost.
Yeah.
And then with him having, to be working and judging and stuff, he would be getting in like late and they would be sleeping because they have a module in the morning. So like people said, having someone to talk to and vent to and stuff, yeah, that was a huge challenge, but we overcame it.
How long were you guys there for?
2 weeks. 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Almost 2 weeks or so.
Okay, so how did you, vent or, let out the frustration or let out the thoughts of being in a different environment and, under this pressure, this fast-paced pressure, how were you able to, overcome that?
Honestly,
Yeah, honesty.
I slept. Honestly, like, sleep is how you forget about everything, and that is what I did. I only was up when it was needed.
I did the irresponsible thing. Kept it inside until I hope they disappear.
For me, I just saw the finish line. Like, a lot of people, aren't afforded this opportunity that we had, and a lot of people would want to do it. And I am here, so irrespective of how you may be feeling, just push through, see the finish line, and that was for me. That was how we got through.
I think that's one thing that we could take from the entire competition, that even if we didn't get to where we thought we'd have seen ourselves, it will still win at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Because we get to do something that other people didn't get to do.
Yeah, and then some people even from other countries dropped out, so.
This one girl from South Africa, I honestly cannot remember her name. We were talking in the cafeteria and she honestly told me she wanted to drop out, and then I told her, well, we came this far, don't drop out. And the next day I actually saw her, so it was like my words carried some sort of weight, to help her, keep going. So, yeah.
So now that you mentioned that, did you find that you guys meshed well with any of the other competitors? Did you form any relationships, anything along those lines?
I met so many people. I even, because when it was after the competition, I thought someone was a competitor, but they were actually someone that was just there volunteering. So that's how well it was meeting people.
I thought it's the only thing I regretted about the entire trip, because as I said, I'm introverted, so talking to people, not really my forte. So I feel that was the only regret, like not making enough connections. But that's something I'm working on now. So
it was interesting. I mean, you meet a lot of people, and then like it's hard to like blah blah blah, because people speak different languages. But for me, the one person I met was this guy from an Asian country. Honestly, can't remember, but he was a cool guy, and we actually talked to each other when we had modules and stuff. So he too, I guess you don't even know, he helped me get through it, because we were doing the same thing, experiencing the same thing. So and even the expert from Brazil, Andre, we were able to form a connection, and so we could still talk up to today, so it's still good.
Okay, that's so great. So what do you think you guys would have done differently in that whole experience?
I just wish I knew what I knew now back then.
Probably preparing for the cold more. Like, I didn't expect to be that
I wish
cold.
they get cold.
So I think that would be the main thing, to just prepare for the cold more.
Yeah, because when I was sick, I wish I was not sick, because I was so drowsy and I was disoriented. So I wish I was like prepared for it more. So I agree with Annie.
I just wish we met more connections, that's all. That's the only difference I would make about the entire competition. I feel like it probably would have played a more vital part in getting through with it. But I would say, I'm my teammates.
So now that you would have mentioned your challenges or what's not, so I now want to bring it back home. Do you think, or do you believe that people, let's say people, do you think that people, understand or appreciate the work that you put in as a fashion technology major?
I'll start with a heavy no. Because fashion, like, a person that doesn't do a certain skill area shouldn't say that, it isn't a skill area that takes a lot of effort. Because if I know the amount of work that I put into a craft, for you to come and tell me that, oh, this is not worth that amount, or, I can get this from some other person, like, that doesn't do anything for me as a fashion designer, because then you're talking on my craft. And if it is something that I am an expert in, I think the person that should be listening is the person that is coming for the advice. But I find that usually we have a lot of people that have the think they know mentality, and it causes a rift sometimes, whereas you have a miscommunication between each parties, and then it doesn't always end well. But I just wish that people were more respectful of people's skill areas and understand that it's a craft, and that we have been studying to perfect this craft. So when we charge, or we look for the amount of the recognition that we do for our craft, there is a lot of blood work, sweat and tears put into that craft. So I
know that you're in the field of art too, Kristina.
So. I agree with people. Like, if you're graphic design, people are like, oh, that's easy, I can do that. But they don't realize there's psychology that goes into some of the work that you do. Like, there's color psychology, and then I like to work with, I'm very technical, so I like to work with a lot of numbers and shapes. So sometimes, for example, if I'm creating a logo, I will use math to help me create these symmetrical designs. And then somebody like, oh, that's easy. And it's just like, but I use numbers. I thought so, like, I was doing this. And it's like, I wish people would, like, respect it more. Because sometimes too, people like jump on and try to give you advice about it. Be like, oh, cool, you're a graphic designer too? Oh, no, but you should do this. And it's try not to be mean to people or try to say anything rude. So in order to get through with it too, I have to realize I have to read a bit of psychology books to keep myself calm. But other than that, I'm still glad that I'm doing it.
I totally get. And I know that you're in a different field, Danny. So, what is your experience similar or different?
Completely different. I think, given our dependency on tourism, there's a great appreciation for what we do, because essentially we sustain Barbados, having our largest GDP coming from tourism. Like, we gotta support it. So I think there's an appreciation, and a lot of our jobs and stuff depends on tourism. We see with COVID and stuff how a lot of people lost jobs. That comes from tourism. So I guess overall within the Caribbean space, there is like a general appreciation, and like to some extent respect for the industry. So my experience was never a bad one, to be honest.
Okay, get you. So, do you think that, well, for Kristina and Peabo, do you think that over time, people will become more appreciative or more accepting of what you do?
I would like to try. I can just highlight the word try to make it happen. But I can't tell you I'm 100% sure. You will have to come a long way before art is really appreciated in this country itself. Because I'm not saying that it's not appreciated in other countries, because other countries take it like way more serious than we do here. But I just really wish that the arts were just put on a different level and not just seen as a hobby.
Yes, I was just about to ask you, because growing up you will usually find it interesting drawing, dancing, but that has to be on the side. You have to be doing this. That could just be your little side hobby. You can't take it seriously, or you probably would be the worst child ever. But obviously I feel like over time it can happen. But what do you say, Kristina?
Well, I'm hoping it happens, because without graphic design, you can't advertise to your tourists what you're doing. So hopefully,
Right. Without the fashion dress,
you can't
go and sit out to the restaurant.
Basically, yeah. So yeah, I'm hoping. But I think when people are gonna make assumptions if they don't know, so if you educate them, then yes, they will understand. Hopefully.
Okay, so you'll be doing the educating.
I'm not even sure how to.
I always wanted to teach. I always wanted to teach fashion, but that's still in the works. So we gonna see.
I'm the opposite. I don't want to teach anyone.
I think this platform could serve an education purpose, because like you always saying, it may not be so appreciated. People may not know about it. We can use this platform to actually inform people about it.
Yes.
Educate people about it, so they can have a greater appreciation, because like Kristina said, without graphic design, there's no advertising to the tourists. And without fashion, there are no, clothes and stuff. And without them, I am virtually jobless. So I think everything goes hand in hand. So we can educate a lot of people via this platform.
I just want to add to that. It would be nice to have a WorldSkills school.
A WorldSkills
school?
Yeah, like a practical, like a skills school. Mm-hmm. Like, I just been out all day, the government just hear me. Like,
that sounds like a university.
Come on, we collab or something, But yeah, I feel like having a school set for skills, that could be a major improvement in Barbados. And I think it would just like have people to look at skills more seriously. And as I say, just not as a hobby, but something that you can make a livelihood off of.
That actually sounds cool, but it would be cool to, like, that would be like, in a way, like a tertiary.
Yeah,
but
kind of like
BCC,
but like a...
Yeah.
Just for art.
Skills. So, yeah.
I mean, no offense, Danny, but... but yeah, I just would love to see more appreciation for art out there.
Yeah, so you think that people I don't want to say that they don't appreciate it, but you think that people don't really understand because, they don't know. They just genuinely don't know the hard work that actually goes down behind the scenes, when they see me in an outfit by you people, or when they see me rocking your logo, Kristina. You think that they just don't know what really goes down behind the scene?
I think they don't know. So that's why I don't fuss and fret, because I'm like, yeah, you don't know, so there's nothing you can there's something you could do about it, but
Yeah.
I'm not gonna stand there and explain the whole history to
That's why we
you.
have this platform. So that we don't have to directly speak to them, but we could just like make it noticeable. Like, yeah, this is what's happening, guys. Just improve, do better.
Yeah, don't insult people's livelihood. It hurts.
It really does.
I guess this platform now is upon you guys to, just open up and just give people the understanding and help them to, well, it's not easy doing what I do. It's not something that you could just get in a day. It's not something you can understand in a week, but it's something that happens over time. So that is what Kristina, Danny, and Peabo are here for. They're going to just open up that door for us, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely.
So now that we mentioned career path, so after completing your studies and, now being in your field, let's talk about the task now of finding jobs. Has it been easy for you guys? Have you created a job place for yourselves? What was that like?
Most of my clients are international. I still get clients from Barbados, but I don't go looking for clients in Barbados. I think it's probably because too, when you turn around and tell someone about a price, they're like, that's so expensive, da, da, da. But it's like, but I'm going to use logo again, for example. That is your brand. You're going to be using that probably for years. So you have to pay for those years. So hopefully Barbados would move forward and will understand, yes, everybody's skill is there for a reason. Appreciate it.
Yes. What do you think, people?
I think for me, finding jobs here, especially in fashion, it could be quite difficult because most of the times you can get a lot of things through who you know. I would just like you to get to a point where people just do look at your craft or your experience in it, and instead of just giving it to somebody that you know, there are other people out there that can do the craft like just as well. Or sometimes I even find that in this industry too, like with fashion designers, I find that, and this was, we had a discussion about this earlier, and I was saying that I find that other people that are within the skill area, they're not very supportive of their own, and that tends to bring down a person, and their creative mindset and everything. I think that we need to be more one with each other and support each other instead of just looking at it as a competition or another way to just bring down another individual, but just build up each other. So yeah.
Yeah, for my industry, we're struggling, honestly, with COVID and everything and how it impacted the tourism sector. It's extremely hard to get jobs. So for me, finishing up, obviously I had planned, for a job, blah, blah, blah. But no, it's difficult. So I am in a position where it's either I look and keep searching for jobs or study. So I decided, I could still look for jobs, but I also decided to pursue another degree. So for me, I think that's the best thing to do right now.
Yeah. Or you could just create the platform for yourself, the industry for yourself, the area for yourselves. Just to end it off, just wanted to ask you guys your advice or any words of wisdom for any persons, wanted to pursue their specific skill areas, whether it be fashion design or something completely different, or even wanted to participate in WorldSkills Barbados or even the international competitions. What advice or words of wisdom would you give to them? We can start with you, Danny.
I would say the world is your oyster and go for it. We have an opportunity here that is not, known to a lot of people. And I started this as, I wanted to go into cooking and stuff and gravitated more towards restaurant service, got to travel and stuff. And now I'm in a position where I can advocate and, advocate what we do and WorldSkills. So I would say go for it. The opportunity is here for you. Grab it. The world is your oyster. We have a lot of opportunities here in Barbados, and I think a lot of it is just to, inform the public, let them know, and let it be known that we're here.
I would say do it. It might seem scary, but do it, because you never know what you can experience or what you can take away from the journey. I won't lie to you and say that it's all fun, because there are days when you feel like screaming and pulling out your hair. But you do take something good from it. You take an experience and you leave with connections. So yeah, don't forget to make connections too, but yeah.
Yes, I agree. Go for it. If anything, don't regret not doing it. Make sure you go say, yes, I did it. Even if you don't feel you got to the point that you wish you were, at least you did it.
Yeah, at least you can say you tried.
Yes, you tried.
I agree with Kristina. Like, you would more regret having the opportunity and not doing it, as opposed to doing it and saying, okay, well, I messed up.
Yeah.
What is.
Yeah.
All right. Totally get where you're coming from. I agree with that too.
I do. This thing is just going through my head. I just don't know what to say. I just keep hearing like RuPaul in the back of my head saying, "You're a winner, baby." So like it's like regardless, you're a winner regardless.
Yes. Regardless of whatever it is. Yes, lovely advice. Thank you, guys. Just want to say thank you to Danny, Kristina, and Peabo for sharing about your skills today. And thank you, the audience, for listening. Remember, this is just the first episode in this exciting 6-part series. So join us right here again next time for another episode of Let's Talk Skills. I've been your moderator, Anastasia Bernard.